A judge in Germany has issued a formal arrest warrant for a man who was allegedly planning to attack the Israeli embassy in Berlin. Police arrested the Libyan national just outside the capital on Saturday. The suspect has now been placed on remand until trial. Prosecutors say they believe the man has ties to the so-called Islamic State. The arrest comes just weeks after shots were exchanged with police near Israel's consulate in Munich in what investigators believe was an attempted terrorist attack. DW reporter Tessa Walther has been following the story for us, and she tells us more about the suspect and the charges against him.
28-year-old Omar A. came from Libya to Germany in 2022. He holds Libyan citizenship and was seeking asylum here in Germany, but it got rejected. He nevertheless stayed in Germany at a refugee center in Bernau, which is just outside of Berlin. There, he allegedly got in contact with so-called Islamic State, the authorities tell us. They exchanged messages that showed that he shared their ideology and apparently plotted, which is called a high-profile firearm attack against the Israeli embassy you can see right behind me. This information got passed on from foreign intelligence services to the German authorities, and they reacted. Saturday evening, they sent anti-terrorist squads to Bernau, and they arrested the man, who is now in custody. The federal prosecutor is now investigating the case. Here on the ground, security is very high. Around 10 policemen who are heavily armed are here to protect the embassy, and the road has been blocked off. They say the embassy here is in safety, and in their eyes is enough.
For some analysis, I'm joined in the studio by Raphael Bossong. He is a terrorism expert at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Raphael, welcome back to DW. So we've been hearing that the German authorities were able to prevent this particular attack on the Israeli embassy thanks to a tip-off from a foreign intelligence agency. But you know, without outside help, just how capable are German counterterrorism forces in adequately protecting Israeli and also Jewish institutions in this country?
Well, on the ground, there is a lot of presence, and I think the German state really invests very heavily in the sort of physical security of those facilities. But yes, to really get the early tip-off from mostly internet monitoring, that's something the German authorities are trying to do, but they have far less capabilities or even more competences that they are lacking. And this is the debate that we're having for many years, that, of course, Germany also prizes itself of a very legal approach to things and that we don't do mass surveillance. But in these cases, of course, sometimes the mass surveillance is what it takes to sort of catch up on these chats with sort of foreign groups abroad and find some isolated person like this alleged attacker.
Well, indeed, this alleged attacker was, as we've been hearing, a Libyan national who made a request for asylum back in 2023. We also heard from our reporter that this request was rejected. Raphael, are we going to hear more debate in Germany about immigration, about deporting failed asylum seekers?
Well, obviously, there have been some reactions in this direction already, but you know, not to be flippant, but I think it's hard to imagine more debate about that. I mean, Germany has been in the throes of a debate on how to toughen up migration and deportation, at least ever since the last actual terrorist attack at the end of August. And many things have been set into motion. Of course, politically, you know, one or the other issue hasn't been resolved yet. And this is specifically what the Chancellor has picked up on. It's not actually deportation, but it's the so-called security package, which was meant to come alongside sort of tightening laws in immigration. So the government and actually the German parliament has already passed a package of laws to tighten security, to tighten laws about gun ownership and knife ownership, and also to empower the authorities to search the internet against biometric images. And just 2 days ago, the other part of the German parliament, so the Bundesrat, where the German states are assembled, the kind of German Senate, blocked that package. So the Chancellor took this attack now to say it's time to pass this new security package. Probably it wouldn't have changed the dynamics of this particular instance, but I think this is where the debate is going, less on deportation, more on empowering the German security authorities.
We also heard that this alleged plotter who wanted allegedly to attack the Israeli embassy had ties to the Islamic State. Just more broadly speaking, how much influence do groups like Islamic State have in Germany?
Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, in this case, it seems like a case of somebody individually contacting the Islamic States and just being in chat online. We don't know more at this point in time. The Islamic State doesn't seem to have a real organization in Germany. There are other groups that are more sort of networked and actually may have more than just one person. And, not to sound too complacent, it is difficult to find these isolated actors, but it's also isolated actors that are often less capable than a proper cell that really plan for months and actually may have more sophisticated devices or plans to execute their attacks. So the IS in Germany itself seems still pretty remote and weak, but this doesn't mean that the IS is not a threat that has to be remembered, that is actually serious and may also be growing in various parts of the world. And so while we are concerned about many, many other security threats, and this is the real challenge that security authorities in Germany are worried about, that they have to worry about Russia, that they have to worry about right-wing extremists, and they also shouldn't forget about the old threat of Islamic terrorism. And for them, it's a lot to take at once.
Raphael Bossong, terrorism expert at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs. Always great to hear your insights. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you.